Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Amy Bremer, a CFP and a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Thanks, Danny.
You know, in life, we like to think it's about the journey more than the destination. But with retirement planning, that's the destination. We want it to be what you desire. But you're also smart enough to know that once you pass one finish line, there are other challenges. And there will be challenges in the first 10 years of retirement. And I can all sense the currently retired folks that are listening are nodding in agreement. Amy, you have guided clients to retirement. But at that point, none of us are done.
No, retirement's actually kind of the starting line, actually.
We're going to talk about challenges you might encounter. One might be managing cash flow. And Amy, some people might say, hey, listen, I did just fine when I was getting a paycheck. What's the difference?
Well, you're not getting a paycheck anymore, right? So you have to replace that paycheck. And you also want to keep in mind that there are some unexpected expenses that will pop up in retirement. Things like roofs need to be replaced, water heaters need to be replaced, maybe you need to get a new car, and healthcare. Healthcare is a huge expense in retirement. So we want to plan for those things ahead of time and manage them. One of the things that I work with families on is something called a sustainable withdrawal amount. That's around 4% of your nest egg annually. So you want to take that 4% and recreate yourself the paycheck where you are paying yourself.
Challenges in the first 10 years of retirement. The second would be balancing growth and income. And again, like you pointed out, you're the paycheck provider now, and you're doing that via your savings and your investing.
Yeah, this part is huge, and it's often overlooked by retirees because they're saying to themselves, okay, I'm not working anymore. I don't have a paycheck. I can't have any stock. And I'm like, well, you got to have stock to grow that portfolio for your 80th and 87th year, but you need to have some bonds and some cash to fund your lifestyle now. So it's truly a balance between those growth stock investments and those income producing bond investments. And it's a balance that you want to have.
And need.
And it's really easy if you're doing it yourself to not do that one the best. So it'd be better to work with a professional like someone from the Annex team.
And we know people.
We do know people.
We do. We're with Amy Bremer, CFP and a wealth manager at Annex Wealth Management. Challenges you might encounter in the first 10 years of retirement. The third is a big one. We talk about it all the time.
How to spend your time. And I'm very passionate about this one, Danny, because a lot of folks, especially Americans, when you go to a cocktail party, the first thing is say, what's your name and what do you do? We define our personal selves by our jobs. And once that goes away, we sometimes lose a sense of self. So I really work with families at practice here in Annex to talk about their hobbies, talk about their children and grandchildren, talk about travel, or even starting a business, something that to keep you busy in retirement, because retirement's a long time, 20, 30 years for most folks. You want to remember, too, that retirement is front-end loaded, where you're going to spend a lot more money and time on those hobbies and traveling, checking off those lists on that bucket list, those items. And then after that, things kind of wane off. You checked off all your lists.
People between 65 and 74 have almost 7 hours of leisure time a day. And it's not even leisure if you're really staying busy, but you got to fill that up. What might you encounter in the first 10 years of retirement? Number 4, planning for large purchases. You talked a little bit about that earlier.
A little bit. Things like cars, those are big ones. And cars are so expensive right now. We talked about helping a kid or a grandchild with wedding expenses, things unexpected. How do you plan for that? So it's really important to work with a certified financial planner like someone from the Annex team. We have really sophisticated software that we can run through those scenarios to let you know if what you're considering is feasible. I'll give you a real life example. A current client of mine came to me and said, we want to build a house. Can we do that? Sure enough, we ran through the plan. They had all their details, their building expenses, interest rate expenses for the mortgage. And yeah, they can afford to do it. And they were like, really? Yeah, you can. So if there's power in working with a professional to help navigate those large purchases.
There's a long list of challenges you might encounter in the first 10 years of retirement, and we saved this one for last, and I apologize. Managing taxes.
Taxes. Death and taxes, always so important, right? So there's a few things that you need to consider in retirement, things like Roth conversions. Should you? Could you? Another thing to consider is when to start taking Social Security benefits. That's a really easy one to trip up. So we help families make those decisions. And then the bigger one, too, is when and how to take money out of your IRA and Roth IRA accounts, essentially creating that paycheck for yourself. There's certain things that people who do it on their own get tripped up on. They don't know that Social Security is taxable. And depending on your income from other sources, your combined tax rates between you and your spouse, if you make over $44,000, 85% of your Social Security is taxable. So there's some potholes there that you have to navigate that's easier to do if you have someone like a certified financial planner on the Annex team.
So, folks, if you're going to parachute into the wild jungle of retirement without a plan, the chances are you're going to wrestle with these challenges more than you should. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. Work with Annex Wealth Management. We'd love to help. Amy Bremer, Wealth Manager and a CFP with Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
Always my pleasure, Danny.